From the director of Dead End Drive-In, Night of the Demons 2, and the previous installment, Leprechaun 3, comes Leprechaun 4 in space. Marines are sent to the planet Ithacon to stop an alien from disrupting mining operations. The Leprechaun, while on Ithacon, is trying to woo the Princess Zarina, who is the rightful heir to the planet Dominia. Oh my God. Did I really remember all that? No, I'm not kidding. That's really the fucking plot. You know, when oh my goodness. When I turned this on, I thought, will they bother explaining why he's in space? Will this just be like, they're on a ship and this and that? And it was like, oh no, they went for broke here. I really enjoyed this movie. Is it good? Of course it's not. But it is! This was entertaining as fuck. This was my favorite sequel so far. It was better than 2 or 3 for me, absolutely, because this was the one where the director, the writers, everyone on board was like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just have a ton of fun. And they did. One of the opening sequences of this movie is the Leprechaun grabbing a lightsaber, cutting a guy up with it, then grabbing a gun, having a shootout with Marines, then jumping on a grenade to save his princess. Then one of the Marines comes up and pisses on his body parts, which then travels up the urine into his urethra somehow. The presence of the leprechaun, I guess, or the essence, or whatever. And then later, when he is trying to have hanky-panky with this female Marine that's on board, the leprechaun, when he's hard, shoots out of his dick. You can't make this shit up. This is awesome. Now, this is the scene I remember the most from this movie. I didn't really remember it all that well. I'm never going to forget it now. But I remember the leprechaun coming out of his dick. That was the scene. I was just like, I was waiting for it, and I was like, did that really happen? Did my mind just remember it a little bit more funny than it was and more ridiculous? No. No, this movie's more ridiculous than my memory, remembered. My memory remembered. So yeah, I just thought this was great. Now, the previous installments, the first one had Jennifer Aniston, it had Larry Kazamass, and it had Francis from Pee-wee's Big Adventure. The second one had Clint Howard. The third one had Stretch from Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. And this one decimates, destroys all of those other people. We have Demon from Friday the 13th, Part 5, A New Beginning. My favorite character in the Friday the 13th franchise. Yes. Ooh, baby. That guy, hell yeah. I was so excited to see him in this. And oh my God, not only, he's black, and he lives through the whole film. They were just like, we can't kill Demon. He's too fucking cool. And they were right. Now, this movie just has a blast with itself. There are really fun characters. And oddly enough, this actually has the best acting of the sequels so far. Like, considerably. Like, while watching this film, the acting in this film should be horrendous. And I'm sure that people who watch normal movies, everyday type shit, will be like, what are you talking about? The acting in this is horrendous. And it's like, no, it isn't. It's fine. And for a movie like this, that means it's amazing. The acting in the last one, watch the third and then this, and you can see the difference. The acting in this is actually fine, and the characters stick out. They're hilarious. Metalhead, yeah, Metalhead, Sergeant Metalhead. They don't even call him that in the movie, but I looked up his name. It's called. They just have him listed as Metalhead, but they just call him Sarge throughout the movie. That guy is hilarious throughout this film, and the banter he has with Dr. Mittenhead, who's like Dr. Evil in the beginning of the movie, and then he comes out and he's like this robot, half like one arm robot thing, and like he keeps short-circuiting himself because he keeps getting mad and slamming on his own console that's like connected to his body. Oh, that shit was really making me laugh. And I actually liked the chemistry between Books and Tina. I thought it was okay. Like, as I said in the last couple, there was just no chemistry, especially in the last one. Like the kid and the magician chick, like, oh my God, there was zero. I was supposed to believe there was something, none at all. This one was actually like, yeah, okay, I can see this. Like, I see that they're into each other. And Books really reminded me of Sylvester Stallone for some reason. In this, he looks a lot like him. I've been wondering this throughout all the entries because they do the same makeup and everything on the Leprechaun. The black stuff they put on his teeth, I don't know if that's supposed to make his teeth look like they're rotten, or because they have them shaped into like little triangles, is that supposed to make it look like that's like his teeth are sharp? Like, I can't figure that out. I think it's supposed to be rotten, but the fact that it's always triangular, I don't know if that was an attempt to make him look like he had like fangs. I'm curious. Thoughts on that, guys? If you've seen these and have gotten a good look at his teeth. But yeah, anyway. God, there's fun parts throughout this entire film, the whole thing, especially like when Dr. Mittenhead turns into this spider, scorpion, fucking half-breed thing. That was awesome, and the FX on that were really, really cool. And then you got the fucking hilarious face pan kill where he hits the guy with like the round, like almost like a pizza pan, and he like flattens his face. That was great. And then the Leprechaun turns around and all of a sudden he has like a cowboy's gun holster and he's talking like a cowboy and working out the girl. Now, the Leprechaun has no weaknesses in this one. In fact, they blow him up a few times in this movie, and then he just keeps growing back and coming back, and nothing stops him. At the end of the movie, they just make him really big, and then the people get out of the room and they open the doors. He flies out. He blows up for some reason. I don't know why he blows up in space. And then his severed hand gives them the middle finger, and that's the end credits. I love that shit. It's just like, yeah, same, back at you, buddy. Credits. This movie is a fucking blast, man. And there's a lot of neon lighting in this movie, which is always appreciative. I always point that out when it's here. The dialogue in this movie is really fun. Speaking of dialogue, or monologue, should I say, the Leprechaun, for some reason in this movie, just constantly keeps having these long monologues with himself, and it really doesn't apply to anything. It's just kind of him giving himself a pep talk, I guess. I don't know, whatever. The Princess Zarina character, I guess, I don't think I've ever seen such a fucking, like, ridiculous reason for a chick to show her tits in a movie in any film I've ever watched. She shows her tits to them, and then when she leaves, they ask why, and the scientist that's with them seems to know the reason, because I guess she knows everything about people from Dominia. That means that if a princess or a queen shows you her tits, that means that you have been sentenced to die. That's okay. I mean, that's way better than what we got. So at least it's a good way to go out. No, I mean, the main complaint I have with all of these is there's just like almost no gore, and that's kind of a shame when it comes to these films. I just feel like they should have. So I'm not really sure why there isn't. I mean, I'm guessing it's a budget thing, but the spider effects and the Leprechaun makeup and all that has to cost a little pretty penny. So maybe they're just spending all their money on that. But, well, as I said, it didn't affect this film at all. The Leprechaun's powers, yet again, it's something... He doesn't have, like, teleporting powers in this one, but... like, maybe, like, 3/4 of the way in the movie, he takes over the sergeant, and he, like, immediately, like, he, like, just kind of, like, snaps his fingers, does magic, and he straps the sergeant from head to toe with, like, dynamite and puts a stick in his mouth, which I thought was funny. And then takes control of his mind to be his soldier, to where he then later makes him dress in drag and come out and try to, like, dance with the guys and fuck them. And then they, like, punch and beat up the sergeant so that he'll come back in 2, and then he's kind of like has a split personality where he keeps going in between Marine and this chick. And it's just like, if you have the ability to just magically make characters fill up with dynamite that will blow them up, and you can control their mind to do whatever you want, why would you not do that on every character, like, instantly? So, as I said, it's stupid to even think about this kind of stuff, but I always have to. When I watch these kinds of movies, I'm just like, why wouldn't he just use this? It's so stupid, but whatever. And yeah, we get a giant leprechaun in this, and of course the first thing he did, and probably the first thing any guy would do if they, you know, were blown up huge, is he checks his dick to make sure that that thing has gotten bigger as well. Of course. Typical guy. When he flies out into space and you see him, like, floating around out there, and then he blows up for absolutely no reason. When he blows up, it's clearly like in a soundstage. Like, it's black, and then it's just like, for like half a second you see, like, right before it blows up, and he's clearly, like, in a room. It's horrible. It's horrible. It's one of the worst special effects things I've ever seen. Like, if you could freeze frame it, I should do that. I should freeze frame it right before he blows up, and it's clearly he's not in space anymore. They just have, like, a dummy in a room, and they just blow it up. It's great. And I like how in space, in these, you know, the year 2096, if I remember correctly, the cups that they have look like they came from the 99-cent store. These, like, fucking purple and green, like, bubble cups. They don't look good at all, but nothing in this movie really does, as far as, like, the sets and stuff like that. But as I said, I really liked you know, the makeup work on Dr. Mittenhead, and they showed him from behind, and they could see all the circuits and he was moving around. And the giant scorpion spider, he calls himself the Mitten Spider, gives himself that name, which is hilarious and awesome. And the leprechaun still looks good. There's scenes where his hands look really weird and not good at all, but for the most part, it looks just like the other movies. And yeah, I mean, I think I covered everything. I wrote a ton of shit down here, so I'm not sure. I like the chrome plate in Metalheads. That looked pretty cool. I mean, it looked kind of shitty, but at the same time, I just liked the look of it. It was a cool aesthetic. Yeah, just the fact that he just pisses on his body parts and he just, like, goes up and pisses him out and he blows his dick up later. Like, that shit's amazing. This is a totally fun time. I don't know how many fans this movie has. It has a 3.5 on IMDb, and it just, to me, that's just a bunch of people who seemed to think this was going to be something different than it was. This could have been so much worse. This aesthetically looks like every cheap knockoff fucking sci-fi movie that was trying to be Alien, like Extro 2, or like there's a Creature, or tons and tons of other ones. So as far as, like, the looks and everything, but the dialogue's funny, the characters are pretty cool, the FX, like, there's some really cool stuff going on here. Like, fuck you, 3.5. What did you think you were going to watch when you put on Leprechaun 4 in space, you fuck? Anyway, alright guys, this is actually a lot funner than I expected. All right, moving on to Leprechaun in the Hood.